just leaving space for her to say, this doesn't work. I don't like this. Today is not a good day. Like as adults, you don't feel like doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I have to allow and make sure I'm keeping track of that for her, because that can push her into the point of not wanting to do it at all.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Dads on Purpose, the podcast. I'm your host, as always, Josh Ashford. Man, I got the big homie, KB. How you doing, man?
What's up, family? It's Mr. Kev, the mentor coach. I'm so excited to be here. As always, let's go.
Why are you screaming? As he looks around. Yo, I be trying to tell people, like, this is, before we got on here, man, like, we was talking to our guest, and I was telling Mike, I was like, yo, this is just how we are. Like, ain't no putting on for the show or nothing like that. But with further ado, man, Mr. Michael Gardner, dressed Daddy Dressed Me by MG. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Yo, how are you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the big stage. I know you've been interviewed by Oprah and Steve Harvey and all them, but you done made it to the big leagues now.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Yo, have you been interviewed by Steve Harvey?
No, not yet.
Okay.
That's all right. We spoke that into existence.
Let me talk to some people. Look, I'm just trying to get Steve to have me on Family Feud, because I'm just trying to come up on something real quick. But they got a little Ford Explorer. I could win 5 times.
Oh, Lord.
Bro, we be playing in our house, and we don't ever win. So maybe anyways. Yo, we got a podcast today, but I'm really excited about this one, man. I'm like really excited. For those of you guys that don't know, Mike, what do you want to be called? Michael or Michael? Mike. Yeah, Mike, man, has an amazing story with him and his daughter, of how he started sewing to connect with her. If you want to talk about that a little bit, and then I'll kind of get into my question, because I got a prompt, and I really want both of y'all's opinion on this, especially with all three of us having girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not always easy for guys to connect with their girls. So I got a prompt. But Mike, tell us a little bit about that story, man, just about you and your daughter, because it's truly inspirational for anybody out there.
Thank you. So yeah, I've been creative since I was a young kid. That was kind of how I processed my feelings, my emotions, things that were going on around me that nobody was really talking to me about.
Yeah.
So when I became a dad, I was like, one, trying to figure out what that was going to look like for me.
Yeah.
And also, how could I actually connect with her? So I just noticed her personality, just, she kind of had a sexiness to her, very energetic. Just, she walked in the room, you noticed her. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, I think I'm going to start to make her some clothes. My sister was sewing. So that's kind of where the first idea sparked. And then I found out later my grandma sewed for my mom and my aunts. Also, so it was a little bit in the family somewhat. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I just kind of hit the ground running. I started by just buying women's clothing that was really cheap and sizing it down to Ava's size, put it on her, and she just naturally started posing and modeling. And yeah, 7 years later, we're still doing it together.
Yo, real quick though, did you ever feel like, I don't want to say less than, but like, you know what I'm saying? So it's not some dudes doing, especially us in our culture. Dudes, that's not really what we're doing. Like, hey, what you doing this weekend, dog? Hey, man, I'm going to sew my daughter some clothes. Like, that's, did you ever feel some type of way, like, at all?
No, I never did. And it's because I've just been, for me, it's just natural to create.
Yeah.
I've always been doing it. That's not something I really thought about until probably the last year. Doing interviews and people asking me, how do you feel being one of the few guys that, you see sewing, and then hearing about other, not only men, but even younger boys that were scared to share what they're creating because they didn't want to be judged or categorized that they're not. But it was never a thing, because I'm like, this is what I've always done. Now I'm just doing it with my daughter. But yeah, I'm a part of a Facebook group that there are a lot of guys who actually sew, and I'm talking about like talented guys.
Wow.
And that platform has kind of allowed them to kind of share what they're doing without feeling no type of way about it.
I love this, man. And I when you said that you never flinched or anything like that, like you were always like you create, like that's just what you do. That's really takes some self-development and like self-awareness and knowing yourself. And I love it because it kind of reminds me back to when I was in high school. Like when I was in high school, man, I wanted to be a cheerleader, like real talk. I wanted to be a cheerleader, one, because I love gymnastics and I just love to I love to go to the games. I love to be there. I love to support. And I mean, like, that's what the girls were. So I was like, bruh, that's where I should have been. But I didn't because at the time, like, I wasn't self-aware and I didn't have that confidence, man. So I love the fact that like you in your lane, you in your bag. Here's a question I got for you and Kev. And Kev just stepped away, but he'll be back soon. And so hopefully he kind of hears this prompt. My daughter's 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a younger daughter that's 7 months, but she ain't really came into her personality yet, right? But my 2-year-old, man, is just full of personality. Like she don't need no music. She'll just start dancing and doing her thing. And so we put her in dance class. So right now she's doing tap, she's doing ballet. And I really believe like early, even right now, I'm like, yo, like this is what she needs to be in. Like we need to cultivate this. We really need to get her into a lot more of this. So how do you do you just start like immersing them into that, or is there like a, you know what I mean? Like, is there a way that you kind of fill that out, or like just, hey, try this, try that? Because we really want her to try everything. Like I'm real big on non-traditional sports. Mm-hmm. So like I like swimming, I like gymnastics, I like watching skiing, I like watching hockey, I watch rugby, and my daughter watches it too. So now she's exposed to all these different things that our culture is not typically exposed to.
Right.
And so I'm really big on exposing her to a variety of things in this world and not just what we're traditionally exposed to. But I know that dancing or something in that fashion is something that she needs to cultivate. So like, how do I go about doing that? Because I like, you feel me?
Yeah. So for me, I kind of took cues from Ava. So like I said, with the sewing, it was me watching her personality. Just, if she was more chill, relaxed, it may not have been something that I would have sought to do with her.
Yeah.
But yeah, and even branching into other things like swimming, I noticed she just loved the water since she was a kid. So whatever I kind of see that little sparkle in her eye whenever she's doing it or seeing it, I follow that. So she
definitely
loved. Last summer, we have a place that's called it's a state park called Marsh Creek here in Peterborough. And I mean, one is just beautiful, but she loves going out there. So I'm sure that I put that in. Last year, I was pretty much her camp counselor.
Yeah. Hey, we want to go here. We got places to go. Let's go.
Right.
For me, what I usually do when it comes to her is I make sure that whatever she shows interest in, I sprinkle a little bit of that into whatever it is we're doing. Mm. So last week, so my birthday is Friday, and she's like, thank you. She loves music, and she's like, I want to write a song. She just went and got a songbook, and I talked to her last night. She's like, oh, the song is coming along great. So, she sings in the car. So I'm like, whatever you want to do, that's what we're going to at least try it so you get a feel for what it feels like. And because she's talked about wanting to DJ, she's talked about wanting to do.
Bro, you ain't gonna have no money.
Listen.
But that's how
you be my manager. I was like, yeah, of course. Like,
15%.
Right.
Beyonce daddy only take 10.
But I think that's how it starts. I think that's the same way it started for me and Kendall. Like, dude, Kendall used to sing and dance and perform, and like it was funny because like when she would watch Princess and the Frog, right? She would start repeating everything at the whole movie, and then we would buy her the figurines, and then she'll have the figurines, and she'll have the figurines and playing and singing. I was like, dude, she's going hard. So like every Disney movie, we had to go buy the figurines. But because we seen that she had an artsy side of her, that's what made her put her in dance, because she was always dancing. She was always moving around. And so we thought that would help her. And so she's been in dance since she's been 2, right? And then as she grew up, she started expressing that, her singing voice. She sings all the time around here. So, we put her in a position to where she can, we put her in a school that was strictly theater arts. So she can have that environment where she can grow as a singer and grow in theater. And then now she's really into theater and musical theater. And so now we have her signed up this semester for some theater classes, and she goes to those theater classes. And bro, it's when you really focus on like who your kid is and what your kid wants to do or capable of. Like, she gets out of theater class and her eyes are just like she's lit. She's like, yo, we did this, we did that, and we're gonna do this, and then I gotta come up with this little skit. And I'm like, all right, this is what it's about. And it does. And unfortunately, I think it's unfortunate because, bro, I remember when I was in school, these things were accessible to us, right? I played violin, I did gymnastics, I was in theater, I had the option to play sports, and I sucked at it. But
how you talking about you have the option to play sports, but you said you got to ride a scholarship to Vanderbilt? But that's a
come on,
lying. So you was lying.
No,
y'all hear me now? KB been lying on the podcast.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. The truth is, honestly, and I wanted to wait to get into this, but the truth is, I wasn't into sports until middle school, and the first sport that I ever did was track. So my brother played football, little league football, all the way through high school. It wasn't until my 8th grade year I started playing football and found that I was decent at it. And y'all know me. Look at this, man. You put me on the football field? Oh my God, it's going down, right? So
you look like a punter.
You're a hater, bro. Stop being a hater. Stop being a hater.
You look like Sebastian Janikowski.
But hey, I want to get back to one of Mike's points too, because he said he was always creative when he was growing up, right? Mm-hmm. For me, believe it or not, I didn't play with a whole bunch of boys. Like, I was always playing with my girl cousin, and not that. And I guess that's a safe space for me that I've never shared with anybody else. But I've always played with my girl cousin. We played Ken, Barbie dolls, and just hung out because I wasn't into like football. Like, I wasn't in the little league. I wasn't into going out and baseball and all that stuff. I was just, man, at my own house. I was playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and so it was the same environment and same atmosphere that fit for me. Although I'm playing with girl cousins, you have braiding hair and all that other good jazz they teaching you. You know what I mean? So it made the transition of having a girl a little bit smoother because it wasn't just this, and I'm going to call it this, toxic masculinity, right? It wasn't that you're a boy, you don't need to be playing with Barbie dolls, you don't need to be hanging out with the girls, you need to go out with your cousins, you know what I mean? It was more like, hey, that's Kevin, we love him, my cousins love me, that's how we grew up in the Brigance household.
Mm-hmm. Yo, but have y'all got it wrong? Like with your daughters, like putting them into something where they was like, that's not where you should be. Because you like you said, you weren't into football, and a lot of times we try to force our kids into things like different sports. Like, I was into football. Well, I was into football because I thought I was into football, but then it turns out I really wasn't into football. Like, I liked the idea of it, but I didn't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, have y'all ever got it wrong with your daughters?
I haven't really had that experience yet. I mean, obviously, so my daughter's 9; she'll be 10 later this year.
Yeah.
So she's maturing and growing, and I'm hearing more about what she likes, what she doesn't like.
Got you.
She's been opinionated since she was little, but now, I think some kids are like, "Oh, my dad or my mom wants me to do this. I'll do it. I'll try it."
Yeah.
Now she's coming out like, "No, I don't want to do
that." Yeah.
Or she's not able to like hide it, like, that it's just, I'm just going along with this.
Yeah.
She doesn't even if she's not saying it, I see it on her face. And that even comes into what we do together. Like, some days she's not for modeling. So like, I have to respect that and just be like, okay, then this actually happened last week. We were supposed to do something on Thursday. She was like, she woke up just like, what did she say? she had hurt her ankle or something. She made up to me. And I was like, you just don't want to model today. No, can we do it tomorrow? I was like, all right, do it tomorrow, but you have to do double tomorrow because we supposed to do it today. So Friday came along, we did it. She killed it. Everything was good.
Yeah.
You know, just leaving space for her to say, this doesn't work. I don't like this. Today is not a good day. Like as adults, you don't feel like doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I have to allow and make sure I'm keeping track of that for her because that can push her into the point of not wanting to do it at all.
That's dope.
Yeah.
KB, what about you, man?
Man, I agree. I think
but no, have you got it wrong? Have you ever got it wrong?
No, because I like Mike said, man, it's you have to check in, right? So every dance year before we sign up for dance, we're like, hey, you know, because it's money. Like, dude, every class adds up, you know, and then competition starts to add up, and then you know, special classes for your dance starts to add up. So it's like, hey, Kendall, you know, we're doing 5 competitions. We did 5 competitions last semester. So do we want to do that again, or do we want to turn it down to 3 or 2? Can you handle that? Okay, Kendall, you have a opportunity to do this program. Are you interested in doing it? Are you know, this is going to take up this much time? So I think we have to be in tune with our kids, and oftentimes we're not in tune with our kids. We're just, you know, they're a boy and this is what I did growing up, so I'm gonna make him play this. You know, one of the things for me too was I wanted Kendall to be different. Like if Kendall wanted to play a sport, then we're gonna go to swimming, we're gonna go to soccer, we're gonna go to some things that are just not common in our family, in our household, just so she can get that exposure. You know what I mean? But I think we don't get it wrong because Kendall's a human being. She has feelings. Like Mike said, Daddy, I don't feel like doing that today. And see, I think sometimes that's that old parenting too, where you don't have no feelings. Like I remember, hey, Mama, I love you. I remember when Kendall went to my mama. I remember when Kendall went to Mom's them house, and you know, she called me and she was like, Kendall said she don't have a choice. Like she got choices when she at home. And I was like, yeah, Kendall has choices. And those are the type of things that we have to start recognizing, like give our kids choices. It's not saying they can make whatever choice they want to make, but give them choices within and I say this all the time, give them a choice within a circumference of things. And then we have to be listening and making sure. Now, one thing I will say, don't let them quit. You signed up for it. We're going to ride this dog out to the end. And when we done, then you done.
But I mean, is that not quitting? Is that more for them or is that for you? Because like you be like, no, you ain't going to waste my $50.
Yeah.
No, that's for them. What'd you say, Mike?
Go ahead, Mike. What'd you say?
If you got money involved, you don't want to miss out on your money. But also, they need that lesson for life because, again, we often have to do things like paying bills. Who wants to pay bills? Like, but we have to. And if you don't, where you can do it?
They're going to shut your lights off.
So they need that life lesson too, that you can't just back out of things when it's convenient for you. Like, you have to push through. And what's funny with me and Ava is that if I'm creating something and I'm kind of like doubting myself, she throws all that stuff that I say to her right back to me. Like,
wow.
She literally would say, like, Daddy, what you create is amazing. Like, you know, keep going. Like, ready to toss a dress. And she was like, just change it. Like, add this. What can we do to it? So, you know, that's how I know too that she's taking in what I'm telling her too. But also she's checking me when she's like, no, you tell me. Like years ago, I told her we can't say can't. It's not a part of our vocabulary. Anytime any of us say it, we catch each other. Like, hey, you said, I mean, it got annoying because she just like, you know, you just naturally talking. You say, oh, I can't with this or something. Daddy. And I'm like,
Daddy.
I don't mean it in that context, but she heard it and she like, no, don't say it.
Yeah.
He's like,
no, I read that in I think you did an interview with like Inspire or something like that, and or somebody, I don't know, somebody in New York, and I read that about you and like you were inspiring Ava, and eventually she started to inspire you. Just like all the motivation that you were giving her, like she was just giving it back to you, man. And I love that. And I just I think that's wonderful. And I wish more of us did that all the time. You feel me? Like that's not something that we always naturally did. Like I grew up, my daddy was a gangster. And I know my dad loves me, but he didn't always say it. You feel me? And I think so much what I'm learning, so much of parenting is, you know, they always say it's not what you say, it's what you do. But I think a lot of it is what you say.
Right.
Because that really gets into them. And going back to what you guys were talking about, man, like not letting them quit. What was I listening to? I was listening to the Secrets to Success podcast with CJ and ET and all them. And they were talking about parents, like basically you're robbing your kids of life lessons. So like, oh, my kid ain't getting no PT in high school. Like he ain't on the coming up there talking to the coaches. And like the truth of the matter is like, the only parents that's really complaining about PT are the parents of the kids that ain't good. Right. Like if your kid was good, he would be getting PT. Like that's what it is. Yeah. And so you going up there and like vouching on their behalf is like you're robbing them of that life lesson of how to get better and how like your kid is on a breakthrough. Like they're gonna figure something out about them. But I think, man, we can't be so quick to let our kids quit. Well, we can't be so quick to let them like step in there and just remove them from the situation. Like, yo, like we got to let them grow. Like the whole point of parenting, man, is to eventually raise them up so that they can go out there and be adults. And you can't do that if you coming in there chiming all the time, knocking on coach door like, hey, you know, my son has been on the bench all season. Well, ma'am, he's third string for a reason.
Yep. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I have to say.
I got to say this though, because I think it's important because this is we fathers, man, and I know a lot of dads, you know, on the football field, you know, on the basketball court, you know, and a lot of parents, you're not listening to your kid. Like you're not, you know, Josh, you know why I was good in football? Wow. When I got to that school, I said, Coach, I want to play. I don't want to sit on the bench. Whatever position you put me on, I just want to play. You know what I mean? Like, but that took the position of the student, of the child, not the parent saying, you know, you good, baby, you good. Yeah, you gonna be the best. No, you maybe not that good. And if you think he's that good, how much are you paying? How much are you paying for his development? Does that make sense? Like, I've been to a lot of situations where parents are boosting their kids up, but they're not developing their student. They're not developing that athlete. They're not developing their child. You know, you might be thinking like, well, Kevin, you're doing all this. Man, I'm making it work. I'm making it happen because I know these lessons, these voice lessons, these theater classes, man, she might not jump off today, but I know she'll have all of those things that she needs to be whatever she wants to be. But I have to be realistic because if she couldn't sing, I need to be like, hey, I know you like to sing, baby, but we need to figure something else out. You know what I mean? Like we gotta recognize where their opportunities are and not let them. So, because I think one of the mindsets that we had in the past was, what are your weaknesses? Okay, let's focus on your weaknesses so you can be a good person. No, what are your weaknesses? Let's leave them to the side so we can focus on what you're really good at so you can be successful. But that's all I got to say on that, man.
No, man. But you said something really good. It's that we're not listening to our kids. But even at 2, my daughter is still talking to me and letting me know what she wants to do. Like when we talk about dance class, she's like, she knows dance classes on Saturday. She don't know what day Saturday is, but she knows on Saturday she go to dance class. And she's just like, I'm going to go to dance class. I'm going to go see Miss Dory. I'm going to see my friends. She's like, I'm going to do a ballerina move and things like that. And I think once we start listening to them, we can start cultivating that. And then if we're listening to them, investing the money isn't such a big issue, man. I was listening to the big homie, Jamal King. Shout out to MakeRealEstateReal.com. If you guys want to go ahead and take your real estate endeavors to the next level, go there. He ain't paying me for this, but that's just a little plug. But I was listening to Jamal King, and he was talking about his daughters. They play tennis, and like they are dope tennis players, like super, super dope. He I think they're both in high school, and he invested $25,000 into one of his daughters to work on her game. Like he hired a private coach. He's like, you know what I'm saying? And she was just beating everybody. Well, they went to this one tournament and he lost to this one girl. Well, she lost to this one girl and the girl just had a phenomenal serve. And he got to chop it up with the dad afterwards. And he was just like, yo, he's like, you know, how did your daughter get such a great serve? And he was just like, the dude was like, yo, I paid $75,000 for her to have a serving coach.
Wow.
Like when we're listening to our kids and what they want to do, like invest in that money to help them be better. And when you got it, I think that goes a super long way, man. And a lot of us out there as parents, we wasting money.
I want to challenge that too, and say when you got it, there is something out there. Like if your kid wants to be an astronaut, there is something out there that fits your budget. And I think this is my challenge. We're investing for the future, but are we investing in the right places for our future, right? And so when you said investment, I've seen, I'm buying stock and I'm investing in real estate, but I'm also buying things that is going to elevate my kids, development, not just the house and not just the cars and stuff, but also the skills and things that they need. And with that, I want to ask Mike, like, how do you see the investment in the things that you're doing as a father with your daughter? Like, what kind of investments are you seeing out of this time and everything that you're pouring into this?
So for me, one is seeing her at 9, and it started before she was 9, but I like see it more now. The things that I started working on her with at 3 became very important now.
Wow.
So when she was 3, I just sat down and started literally just talking to her. Just obviously it wasn't much, we could talk about, but it was kind of, I never wanted that like awkwardness that you see sometimes with dads and daughters. Like when they don't feel comfortable coming to their dad, when he tries to step in on certain things, it's just weird.
Yeah. Pause 1 second. And it's weird for sons too when we don't do it, right? So it's not just weird with daughters, it's also weird with sons because this is developing a relationship. Right. My bad. I just wanted to make sure my sons, my dads with sons get that, understand that too. It's not just with daughters, it's with sons too. My bad.
So taking that time to kind of build that bond, she started coming to me with things that, we either were said around her that she didn't like. And recently, she had an issue where there was a family member that, on her mom's side was saying things about me. Mm-hmm. She was just like, then she came to me before, but it kind of got to a point, she was actually being left alone with this person occasionally. That became the issue. I get anxious, I don't want to hear it, it's negative. And, she had to stand up for herself and actually speak to what it was that she was feeling.
Wow.
She can actually do that. And I said, I talked to her, I said, the opportunity that you're getting to say to this person, I don't like this, I wasn't afforded that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I put so much emphasis on it with her, because I was in uncomfortable situations and didn't have a voice. I didn't want her to have that same experience.
Mm-hmm.
And it's happened with school. It's just one of those things in life that you need to be able to say how you feel. So kind of paying attention to that, as well as helping build her confidence too.
Yeah.
I'm like, and now you are so far ahead of where I was.
We didn't have, you, like you said, we didn't have the opportunity to I don't want to say talk back, but to make ourselves known as a person. Like that just
you can't talk back. Ain't no talk back.
No, not even talk back, man. But because you can express yourself in a non-disrespectful manner, in a respectful manner. I don't know. How do you say it? You know what I'm trying to say. But you know what I'm saying?
Nothing was explained. Like you just told to do this. And I just feel like for them, it's so different. They're exposed more. They have feelings about things. And if you're not able to talk to somebody, that means you're holding it in, which that's how I grew up, and it's not good.
Yeah.
So for her, I love that she has a different experience, because these are things that she's going to have to do in the workforce. When she decides to get married and have kids and become a wife, like she's going to need these tools to be productive and live a good life, and not have to feel like I have to be something that I'm not really to satisfy or please other people. So, for her, I love that she kind of has that strength, and I make sure to reinforce that with her because, you're going to need it, especially with, you're going to be a Black woman out here. So,
yeah.
Yo, Mike, I got a question though, because you talked about, you said something about her eventually going in the workforce, and it hit me, and her having an opinion and feeding life into you. Did she have an opinion because I know your story goes deeper, and for you guys that don't know, Michael's actually laid off from his job. You were an accountant, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were laid off, and like, did your daughter have an opinion at that time, and did she express herself of like some sort of, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to, because I feel like I have an inkling that she did say something and encourage you, but I just want to know for a fact.
Oh, you mean for like when the pandemic hit and everything?
Yeah, like, because I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? You guys seem like you have a real open relationship, and she probably know, like, oh, daddy goes to work on this day. Well, daddy ain't going to work today. Daddy, why you home? Why you sewing all day?
Yeah, she definitely did. So, because right around the time when I got laid off, then she got, school got shut down too.
Yeah.
So there was one particular day where I kind of made a joke about it. I was talking to my fiance, and I kind of made a joke about like not having the job because when I grew up, we just turned things that were like serious. We used humor to kind of really express like what you felt about it.
Yeah.
I made a joke, and she heard it, and she was like, "Daddy, you have a job. You're just not there right now." I was kind of like, okay, but yeah, like through this whole process. Within this last year, I realized like at times when me as a dad, when I'm not okay, she knows that I'm not okay.
Yeah.
So in the morning she would be like, "Oh, well, Daddy, what are you doing today? What's your plan?" So she was very much aware, like, okay, we had a whole routine.
Yeah.
She would get ready for school. I would get ready for work. Get in the car. She'd say her affirmations every morning. Drop her off. I go to work. Come back, pick her up. Dinner thing, talking, how's your day? So all that kind of changed.
Yeah.
First, she loved that we were together, we had more time together, but at the same time, I think she was trying to figure out, like, was I okay?
Yeah.
When I wasn't, and she could see it, she would naturally come over, give me a word of encouragement, be more affectionate, give me hugs, and or just randomly telling me like how great of a dad I am, and because I'm so focused on trying to make sure she's okay. And she's also like, well, I want to make sure my dad is okay too.
That's beautiful.
So, so it's funny because my job had actually offered to have me come back. No, I haven't even told Ava yet.
Wow.
Hold on, why you say no? Because this influencer marketing done made him a little bougie. Mike, like, oh, y'all want to pay me this? I just did that last week.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like a bunch of different reasons as to why, but I was actually miserable at my job before.
Got you.
And trying to like find a new job, and but I had taken Ava to work with me on like take your daughter to work day. She had been to my job. I pretty much worked there as long as she's been alive. So she loves going there. So I haven't even had the heart to tell her like, hey, I'm not going back.
Not going there no more. That's done.
So I have to, have that conversation with her. But yeah, like, she's very much in tune with, like, we're connected. So she's very much in tune with me and, kind of seeing certain things. And she may not ask me directly, like, are you okay in that sense? But she has her ways of like knowing and also doing certain things to kind of try to make me feel better.
Yeah.
But that is emotional intelligence with your kid one-on-one, fellas. That is exactly how you have emotionally stable kids. We have to develop a relationship with our kids. Start talking to them now. Like, you don't have to have a 12-year-old conversation with a 6-year-old. Meet them at their level. Talk to them where you are. Be vulnerable with them, encourage them, and because right now, just with all of the clubhouses I've been in, the the fatherhood groups that I've been in, like, and people are asking, what's wrong with our Black men? What's wrong with our Black women? What's wrong with our kids? What's going on? And we're learning social emotional health, but social and emotional health starts in the home. It doesn't start in the school system. It doesn't start in somebody's community center. It starts with a mother and a father having a relationship, not a, oh, baby, goo goo gaga. No, a, hey, baby, how you doing? You know, how are you feeling? Using adult words. And listen, when you use adult words with children, that speeds up their learning curve with the language and words. So having regular conversations with your kids, understanding who they are, what they're good at, what they're not good at, you know, introducing them to new things. This is how we develop social, emotional, stable kids, Michael. Thank you so much for sharing that whole journey. And just, man, bro, that's hey, social emotional health 101, baby.
Yo, and you said something really dope right there, KB. It's like you said, you know, developing emotional intelligence starts at the home, but parenting in general starts at the house, man. Too many times, and especially in these days, we want everybody else to parent our kids. We want to let Apple do it. You know what I'm saying? We want the schools to do it. Teachers ain't got time to parent your kids. Like they trying to teach them school stuff. They ain't got time to teach them what you're supposed to be teaching them at home. Well, that's a whole other conversation. We're going to bring somebody else in for that one of these days. But until then, Michael, you got final words for us, bro? Like, what is something that you would tell a dad, man, that is struggling with really cultivating the creativity in their child? And everybody's not creative, but how do you, what would you tell to someone that's struggling to cultivate anything in their child? Does that make sense?
Yeah. For me, I think one, like, you start the conversations.
Yeah.
Because your kids will tell you pretty much everything you need to know. For me to be able to be kind of present the way that I am, I had to clear and deal and heal with a lot of my own stuff. So really, you should probably start there. I didn't want to go into being a parent saying I didn't want to be like my dad. Like, I didn't take that approach. I just focused on, these are the things I think I needed. I want to then give them to my kid. Now, it just so happens that those things are literally what my child actually needs. It could be something different based on like who he or she is. But yeah, if you're being present and having conversations and you have good intentions, like, you can build that relationship. What me and Ava have is not the experience that I had growing up, but you know, it's a blessing that we have the relationship that we do.
Love it.
Yeah, I don't try to be the perfect parent. I don't listen. If I mess up, I apologize, let her know, listen, today was just a day. That was a moment. But ultimately she knows that my intentions are good, one of the things that I love most is that she can trust that I'm going to be there with question. To me, that makes a huge difference. So if you're being consistent and your intentions are good, only good can come from you actually trying. You're going to make mistakes. I've had to correct many different things.
Yeah.
But as long as you're coming forth and being consistent and you build that bond and they know they can count on you, then, whatever you want it to be and your kid needs, like, that relationship will become exactly what it needs to be.
And I love it. And the biggest thing you said there, man, was be present, bro.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you remember you said it, but you said it, because I don't remember what I say until I go back. You said be present. KB, final words, man.
All right. What was put on my heart was for all of my dads who want this relationship. There's a whole bunch of men that's listening to this. They're not connected with their kids. They're in a sticky situation. You can be consistent still. Get a journal. Start an email account. So you take your child's name at gmail.com and write to her every day or write to him every day so that they can see that you always wanted to have a relationship with them. If you're in a position to where you want this relationship, you want this thing with your kid, you want to help see them grow, but there's just some sticky situations that's keeping you from having that relationship. Deal with your issues, like whatever issues that you have, deal with those personal issues, and then deal with those co-parenting issues. Co-parenting is not about a relationship between you and the spouse. Co-parenting is always in the best interest of the child. So for both sides, we have to understand that your kid shouldn't suffer having a relationship with either one of you unless that puts them at risk of being hurt, endangered. You know, it has to be a horrible situation. It cannot be, well, you pissed me off, so you can't talk to your kid today. Or, you know, I'm just going to be a butthole and you can't come and pick up your kid this weekend. That doesn't help. That doesn't help anybody, and it hurts the kid. So I think that there's a huge, I'm sorry I'm taking so long on this, but this was just in my heart. But there's such a huge gap in, they say, well, how do we help Black fathers? Let them be with their kids. Right. Forget the child support status and all that crap. Let them have a relationship with their kids, and I guarantee you, we can start making a difference. You know what I mean? I know, I get it. I hear it sometimes. You know, he ain't paying his child support, so he can't see his kid. Or, you know, well, the visitations, man, honestly, it's not fair. The kid should be with both of y'all. But since that's not it, what's in the best interest for the kids? So I know many of my fathers that are listening to this and that are sharing this. You want to have a relationship. Doesn't mean that you just sit back. Do something to show them that you've always had a relationship with them. And whenever that day comes that you're able to sit down with them and share your side of the story, let that be a gift to them. I love you. This is Mr. Kevin. Peace.
I love it, man. Yo, and final thing for me, man, before we get out of here, y'all, get this. Listen to your kids. Like, they will tell you what's up. Yo, like I had to learn this last night. Like, my wife and I, our oldest daughter, she's 2.5, something like that. And she only uses her pacifier at night. And for some reason, we were like, yo, it's time for her to stop using it. And so we've kind of been leading her to it. And so yesterday, we told her, hey, we're going to put it in the package and we're going to go give it to another kid. And so she saw the package in the middle of early in the morning. Well, at night, she was just like, where's my passy? Right. And so we were just like trying to get her to go to bed. And so we finally got her to lay down, and she was just in the bed, just like sniffling like for like 20 minutes. And finally I was just like, she's not ready. Yeah. She's not ready. And so we kind of, her and I, we talked about it. I was like, hey, we can, you know, let's do this a couple more days, and then we're going to try this. And hopefully she gets to it. But if not, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I got to listen to my kid. Like, she's trying to tell me like, Dad, I'm not ready to part with that. And I mean, she's 2.5. Like, she's not 5. She's not 6. Like, she's not going.
That's just good, because eventually they will part with it. And it's not something that you have to force, but, you know, you have, I mean, honestly, bro, at her age, for her not to go with it throughout the day, man, that's just, that's cool right there, bro. You know what I mean? So, but that's something I've seen with Kendall. Like, we was like, dude, is she gonna ever put this down? And then eventually she put it down. And we're like, all right, let's move on. But yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Listen to your kids, man.
Speaking of moving on, y'all, go move on to tlcbrand.com. tlcbrand.com. It's a brand for fathers by fathers, man. You see me and Kev with the swag on every week. Go to tlcbrand.com. If you're a dad that loves your kids, man, go ahead and get you some swag, man. Use the promo code DADLIFE for 20% off. tlcbrand.com. But until next week, y'all take care. Be great. We'll see you then.